Hello, you may join now.
Ini nak jawab lah kan sekali je. Jawab lah sekali je lah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Can you hear me? Hello, am I audible? Am I audible?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah. What about my voice? Yeah, I can hear you. What about my voice? Can you hear me? Shall we start?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, then fine. So I think in the last class we discussed this this point, right? So we shall continue this, or shall we study other subjects?
So yeah, we're doing the same thing.
I'm sorry.
So I sent the physics syllabus as well.
Yeah. Should we study physics today?
So but I wanna study one thing in this one. So can you explain the? So no, this is not the one. I send you one to your WhatsApp.
Yeah, I will just take this.
The new one. I mean, it's the same one. So I just sent the syllabus for physics and chemistry and also for math.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will check that.
Really.
So this is the PDF that you sent for physics, right?
So, can you explain the point that's below?
Which point? Which point should I explain?
In chemistry.
Yeah, okay. Right, so we shall continue the. Okay, so this is what we discussed in the previous class, right? So now,
I don't. Yeah, I wanna do something before that one.
okay, now you can see some questions here. There are 3 questions. Can you just try to answer them?
So can you explain the points that's given below table 11.3?
These points?
Yeah, that one for me.
Should I explain this point?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so what they are telling is, it is important to realize that the pH scale is a logarithmic scale in which 2 adjacent values change by the factor of 10, right? So now there is an equation, right? So pH is equal to minus log H plus, right? Concentration of H plus. Now this is a logarithmic scale, right? So
What does logarithmic mean?
logarithmic means now, for example, have you studied about this exponent indices in mathematics?
Yeah.
Okay, so now for example, e power x is equal to a. Let's say e power x is equal to e power x is equal to a. So we will write ln a is equal to x, right? So we will study about these things later, right? For example, if you have something like
Yeah.
this, the vice versa or the opposite of exponents is called log, right? Do you understand? That is one. So now for calculating pH, right? So now this might be included in your higher grades, right? So for finding out the
Yeah.
pH of a solution, we have the equation that is pH is equal to minus log H, the concentration of H plus, right? So in a chemical reaction, if we can find out the concentration of H plus, then we can easily calculate the pH, right? So now you see this.
Yeah.
It is important to realize that the pH scale is a logarithmic scale in which 2 adjacent values change by the factor of 10. By the factor of 10 means if you increase the concentration of H plus by 1 unit, then the by 10 percentage, by 10 percentage, then pH will increase.
I don't understand this.
Okay, so let me just explain this here. Right, so you don't you just read this, right? So each pH unit means 10-fold difference, right? For example, if you increase the concentration of a solution by 10, then the pH.
So like, what are they saying over here basically?
Okay, so for example, let's say there is a solution, right? So let's say there is a
Yeah.
solution, and pH is equal to, let's say 1, right? pH is equal to 1. Now if you increase the H plus, what will happen? What will happen to the pH if we increase the amount of H plus?
Um,
It will decrease, right?
should
Now let's say we have reduced the concentration of H plus. We already studied, right? So if H plus, if the concentration of H plus increases, then the pH will reduce. We have already studied, right? So now let's say the pH has become 2, right? pH has become 2 means now if you decrease the amount of H plus by 10 unit. For example, if you have 10 power 3 mole decimeter minus 3 here, right? So amount of H plus is equal to, let's say, this amount, right? Okay, now let's say 10 power 10, okay, in this case, right? Now if you convert if the pH wants to increase, then we have to reduce the amount of H plus, right? So now if you divide the concentration by 10, right? So now the concentration of H plus is reducing by factor 10, right? So here in this case H plus is equal to 10 power 3 mole decimeter minus 3, right? So if you don't understand this point, you don't need to worry about that. You just want to know.
My teacher said that in the next class they'll ask to explain this part.
Okay, right.
So how should I
So how you can explain is let me just how can I explain you? So you
But
don't
she
know.
told us to understand this,
Okay, so let me erase all these
but I
things.
didn't get it.
Okay, so I will explain you briefly. Okay. Right. Now you first read this. Each pH unit means 10-fold difference in H plus ion concentration, right? So first you should introduce her the equation that we use for finding out the pH. So what is the equation?
Yeah.
What is the equation? pH. Now this is how. Okay, so the equation you should tell her is pH is equal to minus log H plus concentration, right? So now pH is equal to minus log H plus concentration. Okay, right. Now then you
So
have,
this is the equation?
yeah, that is the equation that they are referring to here. So pH is a scale, is a logarithmic scale. Logarithmic scale mean involving log. So now if you want to understand what log is, now let's say we have a power x is equal to y, right? So this can be written as ln log y is equal to x at base a, right? So we haven't studied these stuffs in mathematics yet, so you can't understand this. So what you should tell is, if the equation or this is the logarithmic scale, right? So logarithmic scale of pH, right? Of pH is this. Now you see, now we have to compare the situations, right? So if pH is 1, mean now minus log H plus concentration, right? Now if pH has, let's say, increased to 2, the pH has increased to 2, right? Now if you consider here in this scenario, if you consider, if it is let's say x, okay, so let's say the concentration of H plus is H plus, right?
Are they talking about the table which is above, or is it a different topic from that?
No. They are not talking about the table here. They are just considering the pH equation and comparing, right? So this can be written as minus log H plus concentration nu. Okay. Now what I am going to do is I am going to just subtract the second equation, first equation and second equation, right? So now we
Yeah.
can write this as, if you subtract the second equation from 1, you can write 2 minus 1 is equal to minus log h plus concentration nu minus log minus into minus, this minus into this minus will become plus, right? Plus log
Yeah.
h plus nu, right?
Yeah. Sir, can you go to the page which is above this?
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually continuing with this part, the last point.
Okay, now we will just see this. Okay, now you see here, this can be written as log h plus divided by h plus nu, h plus concentration nu is equal to 1, right? So now you see log means, now okay, okay, now there are some logarithmic rules also, right? So first let me explain you
Yeah.
this concept log, right? So logarithms, right? Logarithms, right? Now we have some rules in logarithms. Now if we have something like this, log 10 power, like log 10 10 power
So
square.
what is log?
Yeah, I already told you log is the vice versa or inverse of indices, right? So exponents we have already studied, right? If I want to explain this to you, okay, now let's assume this, right? So a power x is equal to y, a power x is equal to y, right? Now if
So
you,
it means that two adjacent values change by the factor of 10.
yeah, okay, now if you simplify this equation, now it will become 10 power 1 is equal to h plus divided by h plus nu, right? So h plus concentration nu is equal to h plus concentration divided by 10, right? So what it means is, right, so now let me explain this equation to you, right? Now okay, now don't confuse with this log. Okay, so log is a mathematical expression like addition,
Yeah. So
subtraction.
where did the equation come from?
This equation we have not studied, right? We have not studied this equation, and in your syllabus also they have not introduced this, right? So there is this is the point, right? The point is, if you increase the pH value or if you alter the pH value, then the H plus concentration will change by tenfold. By tenfold means, for example, now
So it means it will be getting more alkaline,
yeah,
and then if we reduce it, it will be more acidic.
yeah, so if you increase the pH, then it's becoming more alkaline, and if you reduce the pH, it becomes more acidic, right? Now in this scenario, what I have taken is, let me explain. Okay, let me use a different color for you. Right, now okay, now I have this solution, right? I have this solution.
Yeah.
Now it contains H plus, right? H plus,
Yeah.
right? But we don't know how much H plus exists in this solution, but we can measure the pH, right? Now if we measure the
Yeah.
pH, it is equal to, let's say, 1. pH is equal to 1. pH is equal to 1 if we measure, right? Now what we do is we just reduce the amount of H plus. How can we reduce the amount of H plus? If you titrate it with a base, now if we have H plus, then if you titrate it with base, what will happen? The amount of H plus will reduce. Do you understand? Because why? This is called neutralization reaction. This is called neutralization reaction. Do you understand? Now at a certain point, now the pH has become 2, right? pH is equal to 2. Now we do not know the number of or the concentration of H plus ions in this solution, but definitely it has reduced, right? So let me take it as h
Yeah.
plus nu, h plus nu. Now using this formula, I can write pH. What is the pH value here in this scenario, in the first situation? 1, right?
Yeah.
So instead of this pH, can I put 1? pH is equal to minus log H plus concentration, right? So now instead of
Yeah.
this pH, I can put 1 is equal to
Yeah.
minus log. Now H plus concentration, what is the
Sir,
H plus?
can you just tell me why we can put 1 in instead of P? H?
Not instead of P here, right? So okay, for example, what can I tell? Okay, now y is equal to mx, right? Now if you know the value for x, you can find the value of y, right? So m, now you consider this m as log, right? X as
Yeah.
H plus concentration. Now in a chemical reaction, if we can measure the concentration of H plus, right? So if we can measure the concentration of H plus, how can we okay, now this means H plus, if you use brackets within H plus, now this stands for concentration of H plus ions, right? In a solution we will have both H plus ion and OH minus ion, but if we have more OH minus, then that is called alkaline solution. If we have more H plus ion, then that is called acidic solution, right? This concept we have already discussed in the previous class. Do you remember?
Yeah, kind.
Okay. Now you see, how can you measure concentration? Concentration C is equal to N divided
Sir,
by
then
V.
why are they not talking about this equation over here?
Because since you are from junior grade, they have not introduced this equation, but when you go to higher grades, then you can easily understand things, because now you see this is like this. Studying in junior grade is difficult, but when you grow up, then things will become easier. Because you will learn a lot, right? Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, can you erase this and then show me this one step by step?
Yeah, okay.
So they're like talking about this equation over here, right?
Yeah, okay. So now your teacher will ask you tomorrow to explain this point. So for that you have to prepare, right?
Sir, she like told us to understand it.
Okay,
and
we will
if
understand, right? So now you see,
and
we
then if
cannot
we-
always
yeah.
stick to the syllabus alone. We have to study and we have to explore outside of a curriculum
Yeah.
also in order to get knowledge, right? So now you see, you
Yeah.
have learned a new thing. What is that?
The equation of pH and the
Okay, so the
like
equation
how
for
it's
pH.
related to.
Okay, pH is equal to minus log H plus concentration. Right? Now I am going to
Yeah.
take this solution, right? Now let's say I am just taking, right? Now in this solution I have measured the amount,
Does it have a meaning?
which is
Like the equation of pH, does it like have a meaning?
yeah. That is the log values, right? So for example,
Yeah.
you use do you use scientific calculator?
Yeah.
Okay, now in scientific calculator you might have a button with log, right? So if you type log 10,
Yeah, it's there.
is there, right? Now press that key.
Yeah.
Press that key. Okay, so
Yeah.
log, right? So you have
It gives
typed log.
109.
Okay, log, right? So after that you type 10.
Into 10?
No,
Or just 10?
you just press log, right? Log button.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
a space or a box will appear, right? So within that box you have to type 10,
Okay.
right? So what is the answer? Press equal symbol.
1.
1, right?
1.
So log
Oh.
10 means log 10 power, now this is equal to what? 1, right? I already told
1.
you a power x is equal to y. Now this is what?
Yeah.
This is what? A is multiplied x times, right? a is multiplied
Yeah.
x times, and
X
the
times.
result will be equal to y. This is the meaning of this equation, right? For example, if you have
Yeah.
2 power 3, then what is this? 2 times 2 times 2. So what is the
Into
answer?
2,
8, right?
2 times 3.
2
Yeah.
times 2 times 8. Now
Yeah.
we are going to convert this equation to log format, right? So now this means log a y is equal to x, right? Now can you write
Yeah.
can you try to write this down in log format? Log, right? Instead of a I have 2, right? So here I will write 2. Here I will write 2. Okay, here I will write 2. Okay, right. And here instead of y, what do we have?
10. Oh, x.
Instead of y, what do we have here?
8.
8 is equal to, instead of x, what do we have here?
3.
3. Now can you check log, right? So you
Why
have,
does 3 go at the end?
I'm sorry.
Why does 3 go at the end?
Okay, I will explain you that later, right? Now you see this. So let me just open my video.
Log 2 power 8?
Okay, now you see this. Can you see my? Let me just
Yeah.
stop this. Okay, now you see this is my calculator, right? So
Yeah.
this is log, right?
Yeah.
Log, right? So I'm going to write log. After
So
that,
when I press log, just log is only coming.
okay,
there's nothing
doesn't
else.
it appear like this?
No, just log.
Okay,
Can you see?
I'm sorry.
Can you see like this?
Wait. Okay. So you can only find the values for the base 10. Right. Okay. You can just stop your video.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Now you see this.
And then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's Karen. That's not coming. Just
Okay.
log.
Okay. Now let me just. Okay. Now can you clearly see my
Yeah.
calculator? The screen of my calculator.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so log, so within okay, now in the small,
So it's
You-
kind of blurry.
yeah, give me a sec. Okay, it's okay now, right?
So when I
Okay.
press log, just log is appearing. There's
Okay.
no scare box and like
Okay, right. Now what in my calculator, if I
Yeah.
type this log, now
Yeah.
this is called the base, right? Log.
yeah.
Now I have to write base. So what is the base here? 2. 2 is the base. So I have to type 2 here, right? So log 2, and then here what I wrote 8, right?
Yeah.
8. So 8, right? So log 2
Yeah.
8. Now I'm going to press this equal symbol, and you just carefully look at the screen whether we get 3 or not. Did we get 3?
Yeah.
Okay, now I will explain what happens behind this sign.
So but I'm not getting 3 because like just log is coming.
Yeah, okay, now calculator to calculator, the
And
setup
then
might be
when I
different.
put log and then 2 and then in brackets I put 8 and then it came as 2.408. And then
Okay, so it calculates now in your calculator calculates the log values for the base 10. That's why it's coming like that. Okay, now specifically if you can change the base, then it will
Yeah.
be different. Okay, so now in your calculator that feature is not available. That's the case. Okay, right.
Oh,
Now let me just explain this to you, right? So now this is equal to 3. So what I wanted to explain you is, right now you see this.
Yeah.
Now how can you write this?
so your camera your camera is not on.
Okay, I have just turned off. Now, can you see my... Okay, no, I haven't shared my screen, no? Okay, now you see this. What is this? Okay. So, look, now, can you try to write this? Okay, now... Okay, in like this we have this, right? So can you try to write this into index format? So here instead of this 2 we have instead of this
10.
2 we have 10. Instead of
10,
this 8 1 is equal
10
to 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 10 power anything is 10. That is obvious, right? That is
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah.
Now log a y is equal to x. Now let's say we have log a, right? Log a power x. Now this can be written as x into log a power a, right? Now if you have an exponent within this log symbol, we can bring this before the log symbol, right? Now see this, here we have 1, right? So log 10. So log a. Now this is
If
another...
they give it as log a x like that, how will I be able to do it in the calculator?
How? Log? Now in
If
that...
they give the value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now for that feature is not available in your calculator. You can't do it. If the base is 10 only,
Yeah.
you can do it, right? If the base is 10 only, you can do it. Otherwise, you can't,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So now there is a rule, like...
So like for this one, I need to change the calculator, right?
Yeah, you don't need to change your calculator, right? Not, I'm not telling you have to buy a new one or something like that, but we can do some calculations.
No, like I'm asking for this one. Yeah.
Okay, right. Now we have a rule, right? So now we have to study some basic logarithmic rules. Log a is equal to 1. What is that?
Yeah.
Log a is
Log-
equal to 1. Right? Now these things we will study in mathematics, right? Now another
Yeah.
thing you have to know is, for example, if you have log a divided by b.
Yeah. Can you like tell me like step by step which are the ones that I have to know? I just want to note them down.
Okay, now
'Cause it's
now if I first teach you this log part, then you can easily understand, right? So let me just explain this log part, right?
So when will I learn about this log?
I don't know when they have included this portion in your syllabus, that's why. So but whenever we need that, we will study them, right? So no harm in that. So now we will just study about this
So
log
log-
concept.
Yeah, log comes under this, like this chapter.
No, log is mathematical concept, right? Log is mathematical concept. Now let me just teach you this log part.
So like where does log come under? Like, how do we use it in chemistry?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
under which chapter does log come?
Okay, you have sent your syllabus, right? So you see now why they
Yeah.
have not included this equation in your syllabus is you don't have any knowledge about this log concept. That's why they haven't mentioned the equation. So if you want to study this chemistry and if you
Yeah.
want to understand what's happening behind this point, then you should first understand the log concept, right? But otherwise you should just remember this term or this point, right? If you alter or if you
Yeah.
change the pH by 1 unit, then the concentration of H plus will change by 10 times. If you increase
Yeah.
the pH, then the H plus concentration will reduce by 10 times, and if you decrease the pH,
Yeah.
then it will increase by 10 times. So
Yeah,
this is what you
it's
should
given. These points are given over here, but the log is not mentioned.
mention. So
Like they're saying, yes, we
what did your
move
teacher
down.
say? What did your teacher say?
So no, it's in the book. It's about this page. Can you go over?
Above this page, this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's.
Yeah, over here.
Should I explain from here? Can you see? my-
No, they're saying as we move down from PH7, they just thought about this.
Yeah, that's what I already explained you, right? So regarding pH,
Yeah.
so what happens if H plus
Yeah, I get it.
okay, right? So now in this point what they are telling is if you increase pH, now if you let's say pH goes 1 to 2, right? 1 to 2. The difference is 1. Not it doesn't necessarily want to go from 1 to 2. It can be even
Yeah.
go from 7 to 8, right? So in that case what will happen, H plus concentration will reduce by 10 fold, right? So for example, if you have
Yeah.
10 power 3 mole decimeter minus 3, then if you reduce the concentration of H plus only, this is possible. The pH will
Yeah.
is it okay now? Can you hear me? Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for that interruption.
Yeah. Sarah,
Yeah?
yeah.
Did you
Can
want to
you
ask
tell me what do they mean by? Yeah. Can you tell me what do they mean by the pH scale is a logarithmic scale in which two
Yeah,
adjacent
what they are
values
telling
change by the
is now
factor of
they
10?
are just telling this
What do they
equation.
mean by the two adjacent values change by the factor of 10? Can you explain that?
Two adjacent. Okay, now in which two adjacent values change by the factor of, now what are the two adjacent values? Now pH and H plus, right? So if H plus and pH are adjacent values means side by side values. So if H plus increases, then H plus will reduce. Now if H plus increases, then pH will reduce. That concept you don't know, you know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now if H plus increases by 1 unit, if H plus
Yeah, I don't know this concept.
I'm sorry.
Can you tell me about this concept?
Okay, so what we have already studied is we have already studied if H plus concentration in a solution increases, what will happen to the pH?
It will decrease.
It will decrease, right? pH will decrease.
Yeah.
Now if pH decreases by 1 unit, now let's say from 7 to it becomes 6, in that case the H plus should have been increased by how many factor? By 10 times. if this increases by 10
Oh.
times only, the pH will decrease by 1 unit. Do you
So
understand?
this is like the rule.
Yeah, this is like the rule. Now, if you increase the H plus by 100 units, then the pH will reduce by 2 units. By 2 units.
2 units.
Right? 2 units. And again, if you increase the H plus concentration by 1000, then the pH will reduce by 3 units.
So like one pH is equal to 10 H plus.
You can't tell like that because it depends on the concentration of H plus, right? So for that you should know the basic logarithmic rules, then only you can study further. So now what you should know is, if the concentration of H plus is increased by tenfold,
So can you just tell that line? I just don't know.
okay, so now you just want to write, if the concentration
If
of
the concentration.
H plus is increased by tenfold. Tenfold mean by the factor of 10, right? By tenfold,
Yeah.
then pH will reduce by 1 unit. By 1 unit. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
By tenfold.
If the concentration of H plus is increased by tenfold or by the factor of 10, then pH will reduce by 1 unit. 1 unit. Which means, for example, let's say in the solution we have 1
So
times
can you like give an example for this?
for this example. Okay, let me just give you a perfect example.
So the log is related to this, right?
Hmm?
The log is related with this one, right?
Okay, now I want to tell, if the pH is 1, okay, now let's consider, right? So if the pH is equal to 1, now let's say pH scale can start from 1 and it can go till 14, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now for pH we have learned an equation, right? So your colleagues might not know this equation, but you know it. What is that?
Yeah.
Minus log
My
H plus concentration is equal to 1, right? Now I need H plus, right? I need H plus. So how can
the
I?
equation of pH is minus log H plus is equal to 1. Okay.
So how can I write it? H plus concentration. So H plus concentration is equal to 0.1. Do you agree with this? Right? So in this scenario, H plus concentration is what? 0.1. Do you agree with this?
Um.
Do you agree with this? it needs some mathematical understanding. Okay. Now,
So
okay.
your voice is breaking.
What about now?
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Can we continue?
Yeah.
Okay. Now if this is for pH 1, now let's consider pH is equal to 2, right? So we have just increased the pH by 1 unit, right? We have just increased the
Yeah.
pH by 1 unit, right? So you have already written that point. If the pH is increased by 1 unit, then the H plus
Yeah.
concentration will reduce by tenfold.
So if the concentration of H plus is increased by tenfold, then the pH will reduce by 1 unit.
Both are same, right? Okay. Now if the pH will reduce by 1 unit, right? Okay. Anyhow, we will
Yeah.
just compare. That is just the statement. Now based on that statement, we are just going to compare two scenarios, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now you see, instead of this, I can write minus log H plus concentration is equal to 2, right?
Minus that. Yeah.
Is it correct? Is
Yeah.
it correct? Okay. Now here, if you solve this, H plus will become 0.01 mole decimeter minus 3. Okay, mole decimeter
Yeah.
minus 3. So do you understand anything here?
If H plus is increased,
So if
then the
H
pH
plus
will reduce by 1
is
unit.
increased by 1 unit, right, plus 1. Now what
But
happens?
you say if H plus is increased by tenfold.
Here this is pH. Here you see. What did I tell? If pH, what did I tell? If H plus concentration is increased by tenfold, then
Tenfold.
pH will reduce
Then
by
pH
1 unit.
will reduce by 1.
Okay. Now you have to come from the bottom, right? Now you see here pH. What happens to pH?
If pH is increased by 1 unit,
Here pH is increased by 1 unit. Now what happens
then what
to
will
the
happen
H
to the
plus
H plus? It will
concentration?
decrease by tenfold.
Yeah, what happens to H plus concentration?
It will decrease by tenfold.
It decreases by tenfold, right? So decreases
Yeah.
by tenfold, right? Because 0.1 divided by 10 only, it will give you 0.01. Now is the statement correct? Is the statement what we have written is correct?
Yeah.
Why?
So,
Because
but why are we going from the bottom?
no, we don't need to go from the bottom. These are if and only if conditions, mean both sides are positive. Both sides are positive. Oh, both sides are correct. Now, for example, what example can I tell you? Okay, now if x is equal to y, can I write y is equal to x?
No.
Why?
No, yeah, you can.
You can write, right? So likewise, you can
Yeah.
come from the conclusion from the bottom to top or top to bottom, right? So what it tells is,
Yeah.
right? So now after the statement, you can just write this down and you can just mention that if the pH is increased by 1 unit. Now if the pH is increased by 1 unit, now what happens to the concentration of H
So,
plus?
yeah. What was your question that like if pH is increased by 1 unit, what will happen to H plus, right?
Yeah, if the question is like that, then now pH is
Yeah.
increased by 1 unit. So what will happen to the H plus concentration? It will decrease by tenfold.
Tenfold. So how do we do that in the calculator?
In the calculator, that is now I should teach you this logarithm, because even you don't know how I wrote this step from this step, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I will just try to explain this. I don't know whether you can understand it or not, but anyhow, can you just write this down? After that I will explain how you obtain this step from this. You just write this down, okay?
Okay.
So under the statement you may write this. Okay. So write beautifully, because this is one situation, this is another situation. Do you understand? This is one
Yeah.
situation and this is another situation. Right. Now you see, shall we?
Sir, can we like continue with this one later, and then we like can we go to the one that we were discussing about?
Yeah, okay, now, okay, don't worry, okay. Now I will just try to explain how you obtain this, right? So usually now earlier you didn't have any knowledge about this law, but now we have studied, right? Now
Yeah.
I will just consider this equation, right? I will just consider this equation. Minus log H plus concentration.
Hey, your voice is breaking.
What about now? It is still breaking.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so now I am going to just consider this expression minus log h plus is equal to 1, right? Now what I am going to make is I am going to multiply the entire equation by minus. So what will I get? Log h plus concentration.
It's breaking again. So can you hear me?
Yeah, what about now? Is it rectified? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so now what I have done is I have just multiplied the entire expression by minus. So what will I get? Log h plus is equal to negative 1. Did you understand this?
So I wasn't able to hear you when you were saying this.
Okay, so now
first class.
now so far you have understood, right? So here what the summary is, what is the summary? If pH is increased by 1 unit, then H plus concentration will reduce by 10-fold.
Sir, I just want to note that one down. That's
Okay, so you can
yeah,
just
maybe if pH is increased.
if pH is increased by 1 unit. Now have you written this diagram?
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
below that you
I
can
did.
write if the pH is increased by 1 unit. If the pH is increased by 1 unit,
Yeah.
then H plus concentration will reduce by 10-fold.
Will reduce by 10-fold.
10-fold, right? Okay, now you don't know how I wrote this one from this one, right? That's what I'm going to explain now. Okay, anyhow I have already explained some concepts regarding this logarithm also, right? So we will have to apply them here. Now here this is what we had earlier. Now just simply I have brought this negative to the 1. So this is okay. I have just multiplied the equation by negative by
So your voice is breaking.
Oh.
So you saying something?
Is it okay now?
Sir, I'm unable to hear. I can't hear you. So can you hear me?
What about now?
Sir, your voice is still breaking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Still not possible, no? Still can't you hear me? Is it okay now? Is it okay now? Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Oh no, not this one. I was supposed to share this. Okay, so I have just multiplied this equation by -1 and I obtained this. Are you clear with this?
Yeah, I can't see your screen. So I can't see your screen.
No, I have shared it. Wait a bit. Can't you still unable to?
I can't see it's yeah, it's sharing now.
Okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Just the one.
Is it okay now? Can you be able to see my screen now?
So your voice is breaking. So I saying something?
Yeah, okay. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
So should I rejoin first? So should I rejoin because your voice is breaking?
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I can see now.
Okay, okay. So sometimes it might happen. So okay. Right. Is this okay? Is this step okay?
So it's decreased by tenfold, right?
Yeah, tenfold. Have you written the statement below this diagram?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, what have you written? Can you just dictate it, read it?
pH is equal to 1, and when it's increased by 1, it's pH equal to 2. Then minus log H plus equals 1. Then minus log H plus equals 2. And then my H plus equals 0.1 mole to my power minus 3.
Mole decimeter minus
Plus,
3, right? Mole decimeter minus 3.
Okay, decimeter minus 3. Then H plus equals 0.1 mole decimeter meter 1 3.
Decimeter minus 3. Okay, decimeter minus 3.
So what's that?
Decimeter minus 3. We will study about these units later, okay? So mole decimeter minus 3.
Yeah, and over here it's plus 3, plus minus 3, right?
Where?
What comes after mold over here?
Here?
In the first one.
Here?
Yeah.
This is separate scenarios,
Plus
right?
minus.
I already told you this is different scenarios, right? Different scenarios. In the first scenario,
So yeah, it is different. Yeah.
so there should be a
no, I was
space in
asking
your
what comes after mod.
in your exercise book. There should be a space between this and this.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now below that, have
I
you
did them
written?
separately. There's a line.
Okay.
There's a line in between. I'm asking like what comes after 0.1 mole plus minus 3.
No. Decimeter minus 3. Same like this. Same like this.
So it's M.
ml like this, 0.1 mole decimeter minus 3, and then after that you have to write this. Shall I erase and write? Shall I erase and write it clearly?
No, it's fine because I wrote.
Okay, right. Now what I am going to explain is, now you don't know how I obtained this line from this line, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now that's what I am
I
going to
don't.
explain, right? That's what I am going to explain now.
Which line from which line can you just say?
Okay, from this line, how we are going to obtain this line? Okay,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Now carefully
So
listen.
each of the so for both of the side it will be same.
Yeah, the same. It will be same. And if I explain this, then you have to do it yourself. Then I will give you another question also, right? So that you.
So your
can
voice is breaking again.
Isn't it clear? Can't you hear?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay. So whenever you feel so, you have to inform me, right? Because I don't know, because the network is
Yeah.
unstable here. So now I'm just going to take this minus log H plus concentration is equal to 1, right? This is what we have.
Yeah, can I just I just have one question.
Mhm.
Like yeah, after minus log H plus equals 1, this thing H plus equals 0.1, right? That means we are finding out the value of H. plus-
Finding out the concentration of H. Now here you see this bracket H plus means concentration of H plus.
Sir, can you repeat what you were saying because it was breaking?
Okay. Now, okay. Is it okay now? Is it all set? Can you hear me properly now?
So it's breaking.
Oh, I don't know why. Wait a couple of minutes.
Yeah?
Now it seems everything fine from my end. Can't you hear me still? Still can't you hear me?
Hey, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Right. So now what I am going to tell you is how we can obtain this from this.
The
right?
value of H plus.
Yeah, the value of H plus from this equation, right? So now I'm going to explain this again, right? So pH is equal to 1,
Yeah.
and then we substituted the equation for pH minus log H plus, right? Now I'm going to multiply this expression by -1, so it will become log H plus concentration. Log H plus concentration is equal to -1. Is this okay?
Log H plus concentration. Okay.
Okay. Now you see here
And
log.
so like we take this minus and then give it to the
Yeah,
this one.
okay, now
over
this
here.
this minus comes here, that's all.
Okay, so that's like the rule.
Not rule. For example, if you have something like this, minus x is equal to y, so can we write it as x is equal to minus y?
No.
Huh?
Yeah.
Why? We just multiply the entire equation by -1.
Yeah.
Multiply by -1. So likewise, I just multiply this equation by -1, so it will become log h plus is equal to -1. Okay?
Okay.
Right. Now, if you don't have any base, then the base is 10. Right? According to your calculator also, for everything that calculates the log value for base 10, right? So now here we have 10, right? Here we have 10. Now can you just try to convert this log format to the index format? Remember what we have already studied. For example, log
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
log 2 8 is equal to 3, right? So how can you write this? 2
Yeah.
power 3 is equal to 8, right? So instead of 2 we
2
have
power 3.
10. Instead of 2 we have 10, right? So 10
Yeah.
and instead of
10
this
power
8 minus 1, instead of 8 we have minus 1, right? 10 minus 1, and this instead of this h8 we have h. So can we write this h plus concentration is equal to 10 minus 1? Do you agree with this?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now how can you
yeah,
write?
I did.
So I'm just going to write.
So how are we going to do h plus in the calculator?
No, you can't use calculator for this purpose unless you are given the h plus concentration. You can't use this. You can use mathematical rules. You don't need calculator for this purpose. Okay, right. So h plus
Without calculator?
hmm?
We do it without calculator.
Yeah,
right?
we do it without calculator. So h plus is equal to
Okay.
10 minus 1. So 10 minus 1 means 0.1. Do you agree? 10 power minus 1 means 0.1,
Yeah.
right? So likewise, can you do
Okay.
it for
So
this?
I just want to ask you. Yeah. There's two separate sides, right? So we are doing the first one separately, right?
Yeah, we are now we are just we are doing
And
for
then there will be another method for the second one?
no
too?
the
Or is
same
it
method
gonna be
should
the
be
same?
applied. Now the same procedure should be applied to take
But
this
just
line.
the values will be different, right?
Only the values will be different, but the procedure will be same. So now you have to
Yeah,
write this
your
down,
voice is-
understanding everything. Huh? Can't you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the values will be just different, right?
Yeah, the
like for
values will be
example,
different.
here this one and then the other.
Yes, yes. Now did you understand this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so now what you have to do is you have to just understand again and write it, and then you have to do it by yourself, and I will just check your answers, right?
So, can you repeat it? I can't.
Okay,
Can you repeat it? I can't
okay.
hear.
Now I will explain this the concept for the second part, and I will give you another question, right? So that you can practice.
So what?
So I will do the same procedure for the second part, and I will give you another question so that you can practice. Okay? Right. Now I'm going to just take this one. I'm just going to take this one.
I'm not sure if I will be able to do this.
I'm sorry?
Should I use the same method?
Yeah. Now did you understand this method?
Yeah, for the other question that you will be giving.
Yeah, only the different
Yeah.
only the different values, but the procedure is same, right? So minus log h plus.
Yeah, can you tell me the way that I have to put that? Yeah, so can you tell me the way that I have to put this in the calculator? The 10 power minus 1.
Okay,
I just
okay.
wanna know.
You forget about the calculator now. Okay, you don't. Okay, now
How
keep your
should it be
calculator out.
going?
Keep your calculator aside. Keep your calculator aside. You don't need
Yeah,
calculator
it's
for
out.
this. We can do it manually, right?
The device is breaking. Yeah?
Keep
Can
your
you see it?
calculator aside. We don't need calculator for this calculation. We can do it manually.
Yeah, so I'm asking for 10 minus 1 equal h plus, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no.
Okay. Now I'm going to take this, right? So can you hear me now? Am I audible?
Yeah,
Right. So I am now taking this one.
yeah, I can hear you.
Minus log h plus is equal
So
to
it's taking some time.
okay, I don't know, right? So this is okay. I am just going to take this. Do you okay?
Okay.
Right. Now what I
Alright.
right.
Yeah.
So here what did I do next after taking this? I just multiply the entire equation by -1, right? So I'm going to do that again. So it will
Yeah.
become log h plus is equal to negative 2, right?
Log
Log H plus concentration is equal to negative 2. Understood? So if you want, you can write multiply by negative 1. If you want, you can write, so that you can understand when you are studying.
So I wasn't able to hear you the whole time because it's breaking.
Why is it so?
So I can't hear you at all.
Okay now? Is it okay now? Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, it's okay.
Am I audible?
So it's breaking now.
It's breaking again, right? Can you be able to see my annotation?
Yeah.
Is it my why you
I
so
can't hear you properly.
okay. So did you
Yeah,
understand?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Okay, now I am just writing everything down here, then you can easily understand, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But I
Okay.
can't see the video. So I sharing?
Yeah, I am sharing the screen also. So you see this now. What I have taken is log h plus is equal to 2. Now I am just going to multiply this equation by negative 1. So it has become like this. Now here, if we don't have the base, now the base is 10, right? So as we have already discussed here, so this can be written as, for example, you see here, if we have something like this, log 2 8 is equal to 3. Now here instead of these 2 we have 10, right? So I can write 10 minus 2 is equal to H plus concentration. H plus concentration. So H plus concentration is equal to 0.02. So that's what I'm sorry, 0.01. So 10 minus 2 means 0.01, right? So this is decimal notation and this is scientific notation, and that is what we have done here, right?